Good morning. Welcome back to a cup of conversation and food for thought with me, Nidra Simmons. I hope that you all are having a wonderful, wonderful uh, Wednesday, hump day, yay, yay. um, I do not own the rights to the music. If you hear the music playing in the background, I do not own the rights to the commercials. If you hear the commercials in the background, I am. Uh, this content is for entertainment purposes only. My name is Nidra Simmons. This is a cup of conversation and food for thought, and I come on to encourage, uplift, to perhaps have a cup of conversation on interesting topics to influence you in a positive direction, to uplift, to perhaps give you a different perspective on how you see things. Never do I say, do what I say, do. You do what you do. You are grown. Uh, Please be at least 21 years of older to be in this conversation. I take what I do seriously to help others out there. As always, I come on giving honor and glory to Mother, Father, God, Universe. Thank you, God, for waking us up this morning and seeing us throughout the day. Thank you for always encouraging us. Thank you for protecting us over throughout the night as we slept, keeping us fully dressed and covered under the blood, washed by the blood, protected by the blood, fully dressed, wearing a full armor of God. The helmet of salvation, breastplate, righteousness, shield of faith, sword of God's holy word, but of truth and shoes of peace. Thank you, God, for just always loving us. These blessings I pray and ask in your holy name. Thank you, Lord, for just everything. Um, Providing for us mentally, physically, spiritually, emotionally, financially, in every way possible. I'm great. How are you doing? Thank you for joining the live. Thank you, God, for just being so wonderful. I pray for safe travel and mercies as I make it to and from my destinations throughout the day. I pray also, God, that you continue to just keep us. Give much gratitude and respect to our big brother Jesus, archangels, guardian angels, all angels, not Christ at light, ancestors, guardian ancestors, spirit team here and far. Thank you for all that you do. Thank you, thank you, thank you. These blessings I pray and ask in your holy name. I hope that you all are having a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful morning so far. The topic of discussion that I am going to introduce, but please understand that this is just something to start off. The conversation can go anywhere. God, less of me and more of you. Allow me to speak to your people the way that you desire me to, and to speak what I need to speak to reach those that might need some encouraging or uplifting or something, some help or something like that this morning. The topic of discussion is spiritual knowledge. I always come on and say that, or I often come on and say that I am not religious. I am not a pastor. I am a spirit being. I believe God is a spirit. We are created in God's image. So I decided today to talk about a little bit of spiritual knowledge. I am not to say that I'm a pro um, a master of this discussion. This is just a cup of conversation and food for thought discussion. Thank you for the hearts. I do ask that if I say something that you relate to, that's interesting, or whatever the case might be, that you gravitate to, um, show me some hearts. Let me know that I'm not just talking, that there is someone out there that's actually gravitating to what I'm saying, that maybe I'm helping somebody out there. So that's just confirmation for me to see those hearts. Um, yeah, I did look on the internet. I looked on two different parts of the internet to get this information here, and I trust that God will lead me in the rest to discuss when it is time to be addressed. But what is spiritual knowledge? It's the intuitive awareness of inner self and your connection to the universe, God, Mother, Father, whoever you call the creator, okay? It is your intuitive awareness, your inner understanding, your knowledge, what you feel, what you have read. I think that we all have to gravitate to a knowledge one way or another, one form or another. I was introduced through, I was introduced to God by, my mom taking me to church. So it started off as Baptist, turned into Christian, turned into spiritualism, meaning that um, when you know better, you do better. When you read what's out there and you read all that's what's out there, or a majority, not just what someone hands to you tend to learn a little bit more than what you were taught growing up. So when you know better, you do better. I'm still learning on this journey. Never do I claim to say I know it all. I can only share with you my experiences, my personal knowledge and wisdom, and I hope and wish that you all can contribute so that we can learn from one another. Um, there might be some things that you might know that I don't know, and together we can learn something and get a better understanding of what it is that we gravitate to in this world. Because I believe that we don't do it by ourselves. We do need one another to make it in this world. So, um, saying all that to say, let me go back to my notes. Um, the core meaning, experience versus academics of what spiritualism is. Uh, it is head over heart, or head and heart knowledge, understanding. You lean towards your heart and what your mind internally is trying um, to show you. It's letting you know that you are more than just a body. The making of you is spiritual and physical. You are more than just a vessel. Um, this is something you realize when you uh, take the time to meditate, spend time with God, and spend time with yourself. You learn that you're so much more than what you were taught. You're so much more than what someone tells you you are. Um, and I don't know how to change this further. All right, but also transcending the ego. And the ego can play a major part in a lot of the things that we gravitate to and go get through in this world. Our ego can help us, our ego can also hurt us. You can be so much into your ego that you don't listen to sound wisdom and knowledge because you're so focused on what you feel and it's all about what you say and so forth. So, good morning. Thank you for joining the live. For those that are just joining, this is a conversation on spiritual knowledge. It's just a cup of conversation, food for thought. Whatever you know about spiritual knowledge, please share. Never do I claim to be an expert. I still have to look things up. I want to start talking about certain things, and I'm trying to get myself confident and comfortable enough to even introduce it, so that way I can build up my confidence and speak more on things that I think that is beneficial and helpful to other people. I try to come across and discuss things that is not typical that you would find from everybody else. I like to be different, and I like to think that what I'm saying is actually helping people on a level that uh, is different from everybody else. I know that I'm not like everybody else, and I know there's people out there that's not like everybody else either. So this is like a common place. Thank you for liking the live, to where you can be yourself. Good morning. And discuss things and perhaps be helped in the process, help gain confidence and to, give you a different outlook on things. Um, Self realization. I said that already, that you're more than just your body. Um, Sharing the same universal spark. I know within this last year, maybe 2 years, I spent a lot of time in nature. I mean, I can go sit outside, I can go walking, and when it could be a struggle to get out there to get to that point, but once I'm there, I feel good. And sometimes I don't want to come back in, but it's the struggle to get started to get out there. So when I go walking, it depends. I can get motivated and just go right out there and do it, or other times I'm like, I don't know if I up there to do it. But when I'm out there, it's like, okay, I got this. Not if you 18, no sir. No sir. I ain't old enough to be your mama. No sir. People say age ain't nothing but a number. Oh, it's something if you too young. No, we can't exchange no numbers. We can chit chat over here in the live so that, I can help you this way. But if you're looking for anything else like that and you 18, no ma'am, no sirs. I'm 49. I got kids your age. No sir. No type of misunderstanding or anything like that. We can chit chat like this in open spaces, okay? I can help you like this. Um, all right, so what was I saying? Okay, I was talking about how spiritual knowledge is oh yeah, how I can get lost in nature. I can sit out on the patio and with my journal. Great, how are you? Thank you for joining the live. I can sit out on the patio and just get lost in nature. Just listen to what the birds say, watching the squirrels run around, looking at how the animals that you don't think will play together. It's amazing. And, just even as simple as feeling the breeze, it comes right on time. You can sit out there if it's hot. You be sitting out there, you're like, damn, I wish I had some breeze blow through. And then sure enough, you get the breeze that blow through. So it's just wonderful how we can connect with nature and how nature can respond to us. We don't even have to say it out loud. But if you sit there, you meditate, and you be one with the universe, y'all can connect. There's a spark that relates between you and um, nature, the universe outside. If you don't believe me, test it for yourself. Test it for yourself. Go outside. And even when it rains, I mean, it's beautiful going outside. I was outside this past weekend. It rained so hard. It was so loud. I had to come back inside. The place where I go to get peace was just so loud with rain that I had to come back inside. So, um, so yeah. Um, another one is modern secular or Christian biblical. The Bible would tell you what spirituality is in one way. Um, Another form of information can tell you what spirituality is in another way. And reality can tell you what spirituality is. So you would have to combine all of that together and see what makes sense to you and what doesn't make sense to you. We can't necessarily go off of what somebody else says. Sometimes we have to do our own knowledge, go off our own experience, feelings, emotions to come up with a solution. So, yeah. So knowledge of spirituality is you playing your part too to figure out what is what makes sense and so forth. Because some people can say spirituality is a secular thing. Some people can say spirituality is a modern thing. Um, you are the one that can come up with the answer to that one. Black people don't live in the solution. Are you speaking for all black people? And what do you mean by solution? Because your solution could be something different from what I can consider a solution. You would have to give me an example because I'm not sure what are you referring to. Because your solution can be okay if we can just stop the negative talking, then everybody will be fine. But some people need to know what's out there to be able to come up with another solution. So it's all in perception, perspective of each individual. Just got the number one. Thank you. Um, All right. Well, I appreciate all of your contributions. Okay, so how can you manifest a spiritual knowledge type of atmosphere or setting? It's when you slow down and get an inner understanding of yourself, your peace. It's having empathy, um, and inquiring about uh, how you can better approach, you know, a person or your perspective. Empathy. Some people, when I think of the word, sorry, I'm not having a problem explaining. It's just in here trying to formulate it properly. But empathy, we all have it. Um, we just need to understand that it doesn't have to take over us. It's like a thought, like an emotion, like a feeling um, that we come across. Um, Learning how to treat people with respect and, simplicity, simplicity. Um, how to manifest it is just to recognize the basic love, truth, and purpose. Okay. Thank you for the hearts. Thank you for liking the live. But what I was trying to give out was some ways to manifest your spirituality on a daily level. And I think I chopped it up, so I'm just going to recap it and say it as I have it here. Everything you're saying is nothing Black culture is about. So you're an expert on Black culture? Have you been in every predicament of Black culture? This is where people tend to, you know, voice their opinions and throw their thoughts and so forth and try to make somebody else feel the same way that you feel. You're entitled to feel whatever way you want to feel. You're entitled to believe what you want to believe. But when you try to force that on somebody else and make that their belief, that's a problem. Because then you're influencing them based off of what you want them to do. We all have our own mind to believe what we want to believe, and sometimes we're in agreement, and sometimes we're not. Sometimes we're gonna have to learn to agree to disagree. There is definitely deeper stuff. I'm not giving you facts of what should be law. I'm giving you this is conversation just to talk about certain things. You guys can bring things to me. I never claim to say that I'm a master and know all of these things. I'm learning just like you are. And some of us have more experiences over another person. But when you come across and try to force your beliefs and feelings on other people, you're putting yourself in a category that's broad with other people. And I'm not saying what you think and believing is wrong. It's not. That's your belief. You stand firm in what you believe in. I'm not trying to change it. But don't try to make your thoughts my thoughts. I'm not trying to make my thoughts your thoughts. I'm just here having a cup of conversation and food for thought. I want people to be able to heal through communication and conversation. And that is something that we have to do once we start talking about things. I'm good, thank you. But yeah, and you know what? You're probably right in what you're talking about. Um, but I'm different. I'm stuttering. I'm a different person. I don't look at I don't ignore what has happened in the past, but I don't look at it as my thing just froze. I don't look at it as something to give me ammo to try uh to change my demeanor of emotions and feelings. Do you give back and educate your Black communities? I do. I do. It may not be the way that you suggest I do it or see it, but I do. Especially as a broader path to being. It is. And I'm not saying that I know all. I give my disclaimers beginning of everything I speak on. I'm learning just like you all are. So you're failing. I'm not failing, sweetheart. And how am I failing when you're just giving me pieces of words? I don't know anything about you or what you know. I don't even know if you know anything that's factual. I just know that you're voicing your opinion on parts of what I'm saying. You don't even know anything about me or what I do outside of what I see here. So for you to come out like that is not factual for someone that wants all the facts. And I'm still good. This is conversation. I appreciate the fact that you're compassionate. You want to share what you want to share. But just like I have a platform, you have a platform. Send me a link or whatever to what you do, and I can watch and learn from you and see what you're talking about. I guarantee I'm not going to go on your thing and try to make you feel any less of what you are or make you feel like you don't know what you're talking about. I'm great. How are you? You know, but some more information in which I had looked up on spiritual knowledge. Um, it's more related to reflections, intuitions, and internal experiences. Um, let's see. It's more of a conscious meaning, not really the materials of what the world gives you. Because if you're looking at what the world gives you, we have things that they give us to read to try to educate us. But there's always more that you can go into and look at and read to get a fuller version of what's going on. You're not just getting one side of anything, you're getting the full reading because you're looking into it in depth to find out what he say, what she say, what's factual, what's not. Um, changing what you know, changing who you are. Spirituality. Okay, I'm gonna stop with this one here because I feel like there's been a shift in the atmosphere. So I'm just gonna reiterate what this cup of conversation and food for thought is about spiritual knowledge. So if you have anything to contribute on the topic of spiritual knowledge, please share. Um, one thing that I don't really care for is perspective. Do you think everyone has a person? Yeah, everyone has a person. You may not meet them right then and there, but everybody has a person. Um, but perspective, I was saying, you can come on and have your belief or think about one thing, but then once you open it up to other people to share and give their input, it's no longer your thought. It's now a broad thought of what everybody thinks. It's a big old pot of gumbo. Everybody's throwing their stuff inside of it. Um, so still having a conversation on spirituality, I'm just going to change around it a little bit and not stick to the notes that I have because I just kind of did a quick look this morning on what it was. Um, excuse me. And I didn't write it down in order. I kind of got it mixed up all over the place. Um, but anyway, once you know better, you do better. And my journey, my turning point from when I went from religion to more of a spiritual understanding was when I had lost my husband. It let me look at life from a different perspective because I've tried so hard to live my life one way, to be the best person I can another way. And then I've been in the church all my life, and the time that I felt that I needed the church wasn't there for me. And I've spent over decades being there for the church and people for the church. So it was at that point that I had kind of had my eyes open to the fact that wait, there might be more than what I'm seeing or what I'm knowing and what I'm feeling. So during that time, that's when I decided to go on a journey, self discovery. And it was there that I started reading books. And then when I started reading, I mean, I've read the Bible front and back. And then I started looking at different types of Bibles. Then I started looking at the people that created the Bibles. And then I started looking at um, the meaning of the Bible and why it was issued and who it was issued to. I started thinking of things a lot differently. Um, I think religion is a starting point to introduce people, but I don't think that that's the final say. And it was at that point that I realized, you know what, there's more to religion. Maybe it's more spiritual. And then I started thinking the obvious because there were so many things that we were taught, but didn't seem like it was real. It was stories that you hear, and you're like, well, how is that possible? So then I was realizing that, I still believe the Bible is a living word, so whoever reads it will get a different perspective on it. But so I was just reading some of the comments. Um, but when I found out some things, I'm like, well, you know what? How can a God be everywhere and be a flesh? And I'm like, well, how would that be work? How would that be possible? So then I said, okay, well, you know what? Then I realized that God is a spirit. So if you're a spirit, then you can be everywhere at all times because you're a spirit being. It's an internal thing. We are in a house of flesh, but the spirit lives within us. So I said, well, if the spirit can live inside the house and we could connect spiritually, well, then maybe then that makes more sense than to say that God is a person and then realize God is more of spirit. So I started looking at things from that perspective. I started looking at the stories that I was told, and then I had to try to make it make sense to me. So then it turns out to me learning about things and not realizing or taking it from another person's perspective, but to think about how it makes sense to me. So then I said, okay, well, you know what? It makes sense to me this way. Maybe I can help other people realize certain things and help them make things make sense to them. And so it was from that point that I leaned more towards spirituality as far as religion. Yeah, thinking for yourself. Um, I have been brought up believing what other people were teaching me and telling me, and I was thinking that that was it. But see, I was trained that way from a little girl on up. And at some point, you have to uh, put away your childish things once you become that adult, that grown person, and start becoming that adult. Start looking at things from a different perspective. Start looking at things more of in the field or how you are right then and there, and then learn how to make things make sense to you. I was thinking about how, when you work, the job teaches you how to do the job that you're applying for. Then most jobs have people that will train you for a short time to see if you understand what it is that you have to do. And then during that training process, you get someone that has been doing this job for over years. So they have developed a method, they have developed a system that works for them, but it's not the system that has been properly trained. Because over the years, you tend to do things that's easier for you. You pick up speed, you do things that's a little bit different. I understand. I believe the path really is narrow. Each person has to find their own. Yes, each person has to find their own way of doing things. But when you're first learning something, you're not getting the way that it was taught to them when they learned it. You're getting the way that it was taught to them as they learn how to find ways that was easier for them. So then it goes back to making it make sense to you. So when you go on to a new job and you learn what it is that you need to do, you learn how to do it. And as time goes on, you find ways to make it easier. You find ways to pick up speed. You find ways to even contribute to make it even better, depending on where your mind is at. So it falls into make it make sense to you. So spirituality, I came on with some background part of it, but it still has to be something that makes sense to you. That's why I said, let me stop reading it like this because I don't want you to think that this is all be all. No, it's just me bringing something on, trying to find some factual stuff that's universal that everybody tends to relate to because it's in a public place. But in reality, spirituality has to make sense to you. I can come on and say whatever I need to say, but you can agree and disagree, whatever the case might be. That's why I give my disclaimer. You don't have to believe what I say or do anything my way. You don't. I'm coming on, trusting that God has a purpose for me to speak on, and I'm flowing. Sometimes my flow may not flow if I'm looking at papers and going down to the basics. Lord, thank you for being near to me today. Guide my decisions, help me walk in purity, and use me. Okay, that's good. And we all have different verses of the Bible that we can reflect to. We all have different ways that encourage us. I just want to be that one person to help you go towards that positive direction. Help you see things from a different perspective. One step leads to the next, but we must experience that prior step. Exactly. And each person's step is different. Everybody's step is not the same. So I can't get mad at somebody who comes at me one way. They're compassionate about what they're talking about. So they're going to come across and text you determine it any way that the reader is reading it. It's not necessarily the way that the person intends for it to be. And this is what I'm reading on here is y'all texting. There's no voice to bring it to whatever tone it's supposed to be in. So when that person came on and said what they said, I didn't get offended by it. That's just how they feel it. I'm realizing that they have compassion about what they say. But yeah, um, I hope that I haven't lost anybody along the way. When I come on live, it's live. You're getting stuff fresh off the press, and I'm flowing. And I find that I can go better when I'm flowing. And sometimes, excuse me, I live and I learn. Not everyone is ready for the next step either. It's timing. True, true, true. We as individuals have to recognize and understand when it's time to pause, when it's time to move. Sometimes we can move too fast and it's not our time to go because it's not God's timing. So I agree with you on that. How do you know when it's not time to move? Because I know I've moved. I've experienced things thinking that that's what God was saying to go ahead and do. And I realized, oh no, it wasn't. That's not what I was supposed to do. I think that was more me feeling it. Okay. There was an incident for an instant uh, there was something that I thought I felt it to my core. I felt some experiences physically and mentally, I was comfortable. So I thought this is what I was supposed to do. But sometimes in God's timing, it's you moving when you're not comfortable. It's you moving when you're scared. But the difference is if you're moving on God in God's timing, it's going to be promising for you. But if you move on your own and you thinking that this is it, it's a lesson. It's a lesson that you should learn from and study that lesson if you didn't get it right. If you failed the lesson, study it. That way you know what you need to do for next time, what you need to wait on for next time. And slow down. I had somebody tell me that I was very impatient. And I let that person bring me to a place that it didn't need to because I wasn't impatient. Just because you meet me at this phase of my life, and I'm making decisions does not mean that I just got to that point. I think about things long and hard before I go ahead and react on it for the most part. For the most part. Hello, how you doing? So when I do something and it's a major something, then I have been thinking about it for a while. And I've been talking myself out of it and talking myself out of it. And when I go ahead and do it and I don't get the feedback that I'm looking for, it can change my process, my thought process. I can think, oh, did I make the right decision? Um, so that's like, God has been teaching me. I have been going through things. I thought it was time to go into the ministry I was following. I could feel it wasn't for me. Okay. And that was something you had to feel. Is that the same way you feel now? Are you in the ministry? Are you not? But I can understand, trying to do something or stepping out into something that's not familiar. Oh, you said no. Okay. um, but yeah, I can understand, you know, well, I was about to say how God was working on me. And there was a couple of times I came on and I shared, it was like maybe 2 points in this recent year that I can remember where um, I got into my emotions, my feelings. I was feeling a certain kind of way. And I was looking for my family to be there for me. I was looking for them to say, okay, I understand, or, to give me some type of uh, emotion of support. Now, this is not to say that my family don't support me. I know they do. But these particular times, I felt like when I should have got it, I got more of a kick in the head or kicked while I was down type of effect afterwards. And that I believe was a test for me to understand that even though I might feel in a certain way, I feel a certain way, but I'm glad I experienced that. My path was being clear. Okay, cool. But I realized that everything is not going to always go my way. And I know this because everything don't go my way. But even when I get to those intense moments to where I need somebody to be there for me, I may not have a physical person there for me, but I always have God, I always have my spirit team, and they're always there for me. Sometimes, I don't know. I always have somebody there for me if it's not a physical being. So I'll leave it at that. And I had to learn, sometimes you're just gonna have to sit down and just don't say nothing. Just let your spirit team just kind of reign over you. Just sit there, don't say nothing. Just sit there and breathe and just clear your mind and just sit there. And then move when it's time to move. But yeah, excuse me. But yeah, spiritual knowledge. Um, a lot of people don't want to know about certain things. Our families and societies in general is often stuck. You were moving. Yeah, yeah. And I got a vision of being on one of those conveyor belt, not conveyor belts, but what is it? Escalators, but not the ones with the steps, just the flat ones. And you just standing there. You're moving, but you're not moving. You're sitting in one spot, but you're on a escalator, a flat escalator. So you're still going forward. Elevators, not elevators. Well, yeah, in the elevator too. Yeah, you're constantly going up. But I'm thinking more of sitting in a chair and then moving. So being on one of those flat escalators to where you're still going in the direction, but you're not physically moving in the direction. So in other words, you have to, and that's a visual, this to stop and think about what is actually going on, or stop and think before you make your next step, before you get up to move. You're still going forward, but you're just waiting before you can move. So that's kind of like what spirituality is too. Is sitting in in a quiet place. A spiritual talk on finding your path and not forcing it. Share your journey. Do you feel that you're moving towards the original you? Yeah, I do. I do. Because when we grow up, starting off as children onto adults, you're constantly being told who you are. You're being told who you are. You're being told what to do. You're being told when to do it. You're being told you. At some point, you're going to have to realize, who are you? Are you who they say you are? Michael 2:27. What is that? Are you who you are? No, what am I saying? Are you, yeah, are you who they say you are, or who you are supposed to be? And that's what my journey is too. Making it make sense to you is also realizing and knowing who you are. You're going to have to realize, okay, this is what somebody said. And I had to go through I was in my grown age when I realized, oh, wait a minute. I don't got to do what they say. I'm grown. I have a mind. I'm making a living. Taking care of my family. I'm providing. At some point, when do I do what I want to do? And I had to realize that in my older age, not too far from my age now, that because I've been doing this for 2 years. Sounds like you want more of you back. Me too. Well, I have my youth in me. I didn't lose anything. Everything that I've had, everything that I need to explore, it's all in me. I didn't lose anything. It's just a matter of maybe burying certain things down and having to remove things over and, find more of who I am. And yeah, doing more of what you like, doing more things that appease you, doing things that you enjoy doing. Is a good way of realizing or finding who you are and all right. I don't know what I said that was wrong, but I got another violation here. So I'm going to end the live. If I said anything to offend you, I apologize. That was not my intention. So I hope that you have a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful day. Till next time. Peace. I don't know why I keep getting these violations. I didn't say anything wrong. I'm going to stay on live here though, because I'm just recording. But I don't know what it is that I said wrong to where somebody they feel like I violated something. Even my music stopped. So it wasn't like it was music in the background. I was just talking about life. But I guess once you start to talk about things that make sense, people have a problem with it. But it's all good because I got off it. But yeah, you know, it is what it is. I thank you for those that came on. Okay. What's the whole thing? All right. I think somebody got offended because that's the only reason why I think I get these messages. So, but yeah, I think I might cut this off too. So, thank you all for joining the live. Peace. God loves you. I love you. You love me. Till next time.